Well, hey there, TCS alumni. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to pop into your world and connect for a few minutes today. My name is Bria Evenson, and I'm an alumni from the class of 2000, which means that this May was to be our class's 20-year reunion. A weekend I know that along with many of my fellow graduates, I was really looking forward to. And of course, with the pandemic and all of the uncertainty in the world, reunion weekend has been postponed, but not canceled. We must remember that. These days, my focus in life is on thought leadership, healthy living, inspiration, and motivation in the digital space. I get to work each day with people on connecting deeper with themselves and others in the virtual world. When Mr. Trogett reached out to me, and I know it's absurd that I still, at 38, can't call my teachers anything other than Mr. or Mrs., but when he reached out to see if I could help share some words to connect our alumni during this time when we're all spread out, when things are really uncertain, and when we'll be missing a key connecting time for our TCS family, I immediately had something pop into my mind. At the time of this recording, a lot of the world is still at the beginning of what this pandemic will mean to our worlds, our lives, our communities, and we're quarantined in our homes. And by no means do I mean to make this cavalier in comparison, but something about this time reminds me of closed weekends at TCS. Do you remember those? These were the weekends when we were not allowed to leave campus, to go home, to spend the weekend outside of the walls of campus. Often closed weekends were due to a drive to keep us protected, like when the Port Hope Fall Fair was on. And we were highly encouraged to social distance from the locals. We were in essence quarantined to campus, not unlike today. We were surrounded by people we cared about and who sometimes drive us crazy. And what I really remember when I recall these weekends was the magic and the memories that were created. Even as a day student, I would spend these weekends on campus because these were the times when creativity happened, when connecting deepened, when shenanigans ensued, relationships budded, creative Osler Hall concoctions were made, secret passageways explored, and new ideas found. And my favorite, when pranks were crafted. In these times of quarantine at TCS, this was when we thrived in our creativity, and it gives me confidence that our alumni are out there right now, pivoting, creating, discovering new ideas, deepening relationships with our families, finding certainty in the uncertain, and asking ourselves the question we asked then: how can we use this time to perfectly position ourselves when this ends? In a way, this is where we thrive. So don't forget in your world right now, wherever you are, which reminds me of the other piece I remember so well. When school would start up again, students would return to Port Hope from all over the world after 2 months of being apart, which in those days felt like an eternity. Do you remember summer and how long that would take? Remember all that would happen over a summer? And in those days, we didn't even have cell phones for texting. In fact, it was TCS where I got my first email address. And yet we would return to our friendships, to our houses, to our connections, to this school, like no time had passed. This was unique to us. We were and still are experts at distance connections, at showing up for each other, connected by our relationships we fostered at this school. No matter how much distance was between us, no matter how much time had passed. So no matter where you are in the world and what's going on in your world, and no matter when reunion weekend happens, these are the pieces of us that I know won't change, that we will return to the school we cherished like no time has passed. Stay safe, be creative, deepen your connections, pivot, explore the corners and passages of the people close to you and the life that surrounds you. Ask yourself, how can I use this time to perfectly position yourself when this ends? And I'll see you at reunion weekend like no time has ever passed.